Hello and welcome back to part 2 of our IFR night flying episode. We're flying the Bell 412 by X-Trident and we are currently inbound Lepsa, so we're flying from the waypoint Ekput to Lepsa at an altitude of 7,000 feet and with a ground speed of 135 knots. Indicated airspeed is 116 knots. After waypoint Lepsa, we got another 1-2 miles or so to go to waypoint Spesa. If you cannot find it in your GPS, try PSA or Papa Sierra Alpha. It's the NDB of Spessart. So my database of the GPS is apparently out of date. However, I could try to update the Garmin trainer software, which is, after all, the engine for RXP's simulation, and I might get an update that way.
India, Langen.
Delta Mike India.
Delta Mike India, any chance you could cancel IFR for the approach at Frankfurt and do enter VFR?
We could do that. Delta Mike India.
Delta Mike India, much appreciated. Yeah, you will get the IFR cancellation from the next controller.
Roger, Delta Mike India. Alright, that did not go as planned, but sort of can be expected from time to time. We are flying a rather slow helicopter, IFR, into a very busy airport. If the controllers feel that they cannot fit us in between the in- and outbound traffic, today there's some sort of big event at Frankfurt, they might ask you, as in this case, to cancel IFR and continue flying VFR. As a pilot, of course, you can decline that, especially if you're not in VMC conditions.
India, contact Langen radar 120, question 125.350.
12535, Delta Mike India, thank you. I'm going to quickly listen in on the ATIS.
Transition level 60, wind 100 degrees 6 knots, cab OK, temperature 11, 2.0 QNH 1018 Trent, no SIG Frankfurt information, Quebec.
So I could have declined the IFR cancellation, however outside conditions are okay to fly VFR into Frankfurt once I see the airport, so I sort of went along with it. Langen Radar, Helicopter Delta Hotel Oscar, Mike India, inbound Lepsa, flight level 70.
Hotel Oscar, Mike India, Lang, hello, identified.
My alternative option in this case would have been to fly to my alternate airport or enter a holding pattern and wait for quite some time until, well, the action at Frankfurt has died down a little bit. I could imagine it's easier for them to have me circle outside the class Charlie airspace and then having the tower just fitting me in whenever it is possible, sort of on short notice.
Oscar Mike India, as you might heard already from the previous station, due to the inbounds we are not able to fit you in on the IFR, so your alternative would be the IFR cancellation to beam the field and enter the control zone.
Roger that, Delta Mike India.
Do you accept this or you have another offer?
I accept, Delta Mike India.
Jordan, expect so.
After the cancellation of IFR, of course, I will still make use of my autopilot here. It's pretty dark outside, and I will wait until I get rather close to the airport before I take over manual control. As you can see, we have not yet selected a transition into Frankfurt. Here I am a little bit unsure how it is handled on Vatsim, whether or not I'm supposed to choose the standard approach myself, or if I get assigned a transition by ATC. But talking about transitions here, well, transitions usually connect stars to en route waypoints or stars to specific runways. However, sometimes it's a little confusing with those terms. I think at Frankfurt they call everything a transition. That gets you from your en route waypoint close to the runways, at which point you will get vectors by ATC. Which transition you fly depends on which direction you approach the airport from. So in our case, from the southwest, it would be the Spesa arrival.
Delta Oscar Mike India, you may expect the compulsory reporting point of Lima to enter the control zone. And yeah, if you like IFR, we can cancel IFR at any time. Otherwise, I'll get you near to the field.
Okay, we expect Lima, but yeah, we would like to get nearer to the field so we can see it. It's pretty dark outside. Delta Hotel Oscar Mike India.
Roger, then continue on the transition. I call you approximately a beam Delta Fox 635.
Continue in which transition? We haven't entered it into the GPS. Delta Hotel Oscar Mike India.
You're flying it perfectly. The Spesa 3 Charlie arrival should be the standard one.
Spesa 3 Charlie, Delta Hotel Oscar Mike India. Alright, let's head over to the procedures page. Click on arrival. Just make sure that the airport is Echo Delta Delta Foxtrot, or the one you're flying to. And then we're going to look for the Spesa 3 Charlie arrival. Alright, Reality XP's GPS does not have the waypoint Spesa. It still has the older designated Papa Sierra Alpha. So there's no Spesa 3 Charlie, but we have Papa Sierra Alpha 3 Bravo, which after all should be the same transition. Let me check quickly here on the charts.
1185, course and only.
If I'm not mistaken, there are quite a few waypoints missing from the Papa Sierra Alpha 3 Bravo compared to the Spesa 3 Charlie. Especially these Delta Foxtrot waypoints that sort of get you into a right-hand downwind for the runway 07. However, the waypoint Charlie is the same in both transitions, so I'm going to leave it at that for now. Oh yeah, approach said that he would call us a beam Delta Foxtrot 635. This is one of the waypoints of the Spesa 3 Charlie approach. After cancelling our IFR, we are supposed to fly to the visual reporting point Lima, so I'm going to just quickly insert this into my flight plan. I'm clicking on the waypoint Charlie and then select Insert After. You will find the visual reporting points of an airport by entering the last two letters of its designator, so in our case the Delta Foxtrot, and then the respective letter of the reporting point, in our case that's Lima. Alright, we can see the bright lights of the airport now. Delta Hotel Oscar Mike India has the airfield in sight and we can track direct to Lima now.
Delta Hotel Oscar Mike India, Roger, direct to Lima is approved. Descend 5,000 feet, QNH 1018.
1018, direct Lima approved, and descend flight level 50, Delta Hotel Oscar Mike India. To track direct to Lima, I'm clicking the waypoint and then the direct to button on the GPS and activate. We also initiate our descent by clicking on the altitude button and reducing the altitude from 7,000 to 5,000. Don't forget to also set the vertical speed to a negative value. Max is again minus 900 feet per minute. Now once the aircraft is descending, you will see that the altitude button on the autopilot control panel now shows arm. So that means that it is waiting for the aircraft to reach 5,000 feet, at which point it will show capture and it will hold the 5,000 feet that we have just entered.
Delta Mike India, reported VMC and ready to cancel.
Didn't catch that.
Einen schönen guten Abend, die Lufthansa 1307. Descending will 141 for will 110.
1307 lang, hallo, identified, expect LS 07 right.
Dankeschön, expect LS 07 right, Lufthansa 1307.
Delta Mike India, please repeat report beam what?
Delta Mike India, report ready to cancel and in VMC.
VMC means visual meteorological conditions. Delta Mike India is in VMC and ready to cancel IFR.
Mike India, Roger, IFR cancel time 25, descend below airspace Charlie.
IFR cancelled and descend below airspace Charlie, Delta Mike India. We're flying VFR now. That means that we have to get below airspace Charlie. That goes down to 1,500 feet. Seeing as we're still at 5,000 feet and the aircraft is descending rather slowly, I don't think we can make it in 13 miles, so I will have to take over manual control eventually.
861, lang, hello, identified 07 right.
07 right, Giant 861.
Straight ahead I can see the runway of the GA airport Egelsbach, which is pretty close to Frankfurt, and it has its own airspace as you can see on the GPS. So I'm going to make sure that I'm allowed to fly through it by contacting ATC again. However, at this time of day it most probably will be closed. Delta Mike India, are we allowed to cross the airspace of Egelsbach?
Delta Mike India, affirm.
That means yes. Delta Mike India. If you don't have to read anything back to ATC, you can also just state your call sign to show that you understood.
Just make sure to descend below airspace Charlie, so that means descending below 1,500 feet.
Yep, we're still on autopilot, it's slow to descend. We can expedite if you want, Delta Mike India.
That would be appreciated.
Roger, Delta Mike India. Alright, at this point I will take over manual control to expedite my descent below 1,500 feet. So I take over controls by switching the autopilot mode from the attitude mode to the SAS mode. Some of you might experience a stuck collective after deactivating the autopilot. If you should encounter that problem, just go up to the Bell 412 menu under plugins and select the joystick save mode.
Giant 861.
Of course, the greatest danger of flying a helicopter at night is losing spatial awareness. So if you experience a blackout and you don't know which side is up and which side is down. However, we do have quite good reference through these street lights and the lights of the airport. It is also a good idea practicing hand flying the helicopter in IMC, Instrument Meteorological Conditions. You will be flying the helicopter by instruments only. You best load up a weather setting where there's basically no visibility at all or a very low cloud ceiling. You will find that it is very difficult to do. 4 miles to visual reporting point Lima, and as in any other VFR flight, we're going to report that to ATC stating our altitude.
Contact Frankfurt director 118.5.
1185, crossing only, and nice evening to you.
So obviously the flight didn't go as planned. I wanted to fly IFR into Frankfurt for you. However, they made me cancel IFR because they apparently are too busy to fit in a slow-flying helicopter such as our Bell 412. And even though eventually I landed at Frankfurt, I decided to conclude the video once reaching waypoint Lima. The reason for that is that the tower controller that I got handed over to that night seemed to have been a little bit overwhelmed, and I didn't want to show him up, so I decided not to upload the rest of the video. You would also have to watch me circle over Lima for about 50 minutes minimum. That means I'm going to try for another IFR ILS approach in one of the upcoming videos for you, and I might try that at an airport that is not as busy as Frankfurt. Delta Mike India, Lima 1200.
Delta Mike India, correct, Frankfurt Tower, 119.9.
119.9, Delta Mike India.
And Delta Mike India, hold over Lima for the moment until you are cleared into the CDR.
Hold Lima, Delta Mike India. So that concludes our IFR/VFR flight. It didn't go exactly as planned. Hope you had fun anyways, and hope to see you around next time. Frankfurt Tower, Helicopter Delta Hotel Oscar Mike India, holding Lima 1100 feet.